Ooh, damn, you guys. Now, I have to say, I've got quite mixed emotions right now. On one hand, I'm absolutely ecstatic that we came back from 3-0 down to get the 3-3 draw and pick up a point against West Brom. But at the same time, I'm quite frustrated by some of the typical mistakes that we're starting to become synonymous with. Three self-inflicted mistakes, 3 goals West Brom scored, and in a sense, we stopped ourselves from picking up all 3 points today. You guys, I'm in EFC, this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm going to bring you guys the match review to our 3-3 draw against West Brom this evening. So, we have a ton to break down, ton to speak about, from the tactics to performances to, how certain players did as well. So bear with me, you guys. And to kick things off, we start with the first point, and that's the lineup. Now, I'm sure that all you guys were, a bit surprised like me at certain decisions and choices made in the lineup. We never saw Kurt Zuma play today, and to be honest, I thought Christensen was very good, very composed, and he wasn't really at fault for any of the goals that we conceded tonight. But at the same time, we saw the return of Marcos Alonso back in the team. For me, you guys, I felt like since the season has restarted, Marcus has been quite tepid, and to be honest, it does follow on from his form from the previous season, and in that sense today, his selection in this team kind of cost us the result today. But at the same time, we saw Thiago Silva playing and captaining the team today. So immediately Lampard is throwing him deep and fast into this team. It's quite clear that he might be our first choice defender throughout the entire season, partners alongside other defenders too. So that in itself is a big statement as well. And to complete things, Kai Havertz played up front as a number 10, not playing down the right hand side, and that was the team lineup. Now, to be honest, in the first half, I thought some of our football was quite good, but I think now's the perfect time to get the negatives out of the way, and let's break down the goals we conceded. Now, the first goal comes in the 4th minute, right at the start of the game, and sometimes our concentration at the start of games ain't always on point and as good as it should be. Alonso makes a bad mistake, used his header right into the pressure. Of course, a counter-attack against us. Pereira placed the ball between the lines. To be honest, it was a fantastic finish from Callum Robinson, and we're 1-0 down. But, I thought we reacted quite well. We fashioned some great opportunities in that first half, especially down that right-hand side, where I felt Reece James was very influential. I thought some of his deliveries from out wide were excellent, and to be honest, he was guaranteed at least an assist in this game today after beautifully setting up Tammy Abraham and Timo Werner. Now with Tammy, I can understand the ball's moving away from him, but at the same time, Tammy is playing for a top 4 club. He isn't at Norwich City or Swansea. He's playing for a big club, and to be honest, a player of his caliber should be bearing an opportunity like this. And for me, it's the same thing for Timo Werner. I thought that maybe his was a bit easier compared to Tammy's. You thought he would have had time to set himself up properly, but to be honest, from Werner, it wasn't the best game from him. He was busy, but sometimes some of the end products at times wasn't fully perfect. But anyway, we blow the opportunity to make it 1-1, and of course another self-inflicted mistake, and this time it is quite disappointing because it does come from Thiago Silva. Now, other than that one mistake he made, I have to say his performance was quite excellent. The way he moves the ball, the way he plays one-touch football, the way he is so composed as well. Like, there was one excellent piece of play in the game where there was like this long ball up high, and Thiago Silva with his class and ability chests it down beautifully, amazing control, and we maintain possession. That's how big clubs play, that's what big players bring, and his mistake came from that overconfidence and losing a bit of concentration. So in that sense, I can kind of understand it, and I'm going to forgive him this time, but of course it puts us under pressure, and to complete the trifecta of mistakes today, of course we were owed a goal conceded by a set piece. Now again, another mistake from Marcos Alonso. He loses his man very easily, and he should have stuck with him like glue. Typical Alonso, lost him, and today, for me, I thought he played a part in both goals conceded in this game today. But from then on, you guys, we're looking quite pedestrian, quite one-dimensional. We're only just forcing plays down the right-hand side, not really having any imagination in the game. And yes, there were some great passages of play, but at the same time, you're expecting more. You want a bit more, and to be honest, I think this is the perfect time to now move on to some of the tactical parts of the game today, because, you know, I have to say that this 4-2-3-1, when you use a man less in midfield, for me personally, you need to have the profile of midfield player who is excellent at playing the ball, distributing the ball, and playing those passes between the lines. I feel with Kovac and Kante, for two energetic players, it does come across as quite passive at times. I was very disappointed with their selection of passes today. A bit too slow, a bit too short, not switching the ball quickly enough. You know, Kante, you know, he does his standard defensive duties, which of course helps us, but at the same time, he's N'Golo Kante, and I was expecting a bit more with his use of the ball. Kovac as well, you know, I wish that was one aspect in this game that was really well class. Yes, his ability to, you know, control the ball, beat the press, etc, etc. You know, it's amazing, it's top class, but, you know, to be that type of Thiago player, you need to get better with how you use the ball, and I feel like Kovac can't really start any attacks for us, which is quite disappointing. From then on, it was natural that in the second half, Lampard had to make some big changes in the team, and this is where things turn up and work in our favour. Lampard makes the big decision and the right one to take off Marcos Alonso playing as Azpilicueta, and then we become a 4-3-3 with Hudson-Odoi coming on to the field as well. Now, the moment that happens, we looked like a serious proper team again. Now, one player I'm going to start off by praising, and for me, the best player on the field today, that was Mason Mount. Now, I know some guys are sleeping on Mason. I know sometimes we like to look at skill to judge the quality of a player, you know, forgetting the other important parts to a player's game and the important things that players need to play at this level for a club like us. Mount has this in abundance. He was so creative today, particular in the first half. Now, some of his runs in behind the West Ham defensive line were absolutely excellent, especially down the right hand side. He was the main reason why we were able to really build up down that right hand side, and in general, his use of the ball was very good. Lots of tidy play, lots of 1-2s, given goals, and in the second half, when Frank Lampard moved him into midfields, we saw some of Mason's influence. We saw him timing his runs inside the box. We saw him playing passes between the lines. They were the things we missed out in the first half, and this is what our team needs. You can't have players like your Kais and Masons, etc, etc, without having the midfield to play those passes between the lines to actually find these guys. For me, I've always felt like every time we play a 4-3-3, that's when we look really good. That's when we are at our best, and I feel like we have to see this more often. We looked a lot stronger, and it was no surprise that once Mason scored that incredible goal, you know, especially after the last game versus Barnsley, where Mason's play overall was amazing, but his finishing and end products just wasn't there in that game. You know, in this game today, he more than made up for those mistakes in the last game. Excellent finish, taking responsibility for the team, getting us back in there, and really it was his first goal that, you know, really set that momentum in our favour, and from that point you felt the confidence in the team. And you know, the second player worth speaking about right now is Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, I mentioned this point in my last video. You know, sometimes I feel like people just expect to see the 4 stars and 5 stars from Callum, where Callum is actually more than that. The way he uses the ball, the way his playmaking is very effective in the final third. He doesn't lose possession. To be honest, I would like to see him beat his man a bit more, you know, show a bit more bravery in that sense, but at the same time, Hudson-Odoi is a serious player. Just because you don't see that certain part in his game doesn't mean that he's ineffective. In this game today, I thought his use of the ball on the left-hand side gave us that imagination we sorely lacked in the first half. I actually tweeted earlier that we're only focusing our plays down the right-hand side, not even using the left-hand side. This is very easy for West Ham to defend against. Hudson-Odoi comes on, takes responsibility, plays an excellent 1-2 inside the box with Kai, and then an excellent finish, bottom right corner, finesse shot, low driven. Great to see you from Callum, and to be honest, I think his form so far has been quite good. Hopefully in the next game he does get a start, and it's great to see that Callum gets his first goal of this new Premier League season. Now, we're 3-2, we have about 20 minutes to go, and you're thinking, okay, yes, we can do this, we can actually win this game, everything's going in our favour right now. And then Lampard does something quite interesting. Now, I'm going to be upfront with you guys. I haven't had enough time to fully process the decisions Lampard made. You know, I'd have to watch this game again to really understand the tactical decision to bring on Giroud by taking off Thiago Silva. Now, of course, in hindsight, in the end, we make it 3-3, and obviously, you know, we get a point in the end, but I did feel at times we lacked that presence in midfield. I felt like at times West Brom maybe had it a bit easy to defend against us. I felt like the midfield, I didn't think that we had people to string passes together, not enough precision between the lines. And personally, I felt like, why didn't we just remain with the 4-3-3 we played? Did we really have to bring on Olivier Giroud? Was that really necessary to have so many attacking players playing this free-flowing style of football? Of course, it worked out for us. Maybe this is something Lampard wants to see more of, as it's like go-to, against all odds, we have to get back in this game no matter what style. I understand that. With more time, maybe it might look a lot more effective. But I did feel like we lost a little bit of momentum after that second goal. And personally, I didn't fully understand why Giroud had to come on and why we needed to have another striker in the field. Anyway, you guys, in the end, Tammy Abraham makes it 3-3. To be honest, it was a great run inside the box. That is typical Tammy Abraham. He just leaves his man, creates that space for himself, and of course accelerates into that vacated space. Of course, simple finish. Of course, it's expected, but he makes it 3-3. We get the result in the end. You're thinking, can we make it 4-3? We have some half attempts, but nothing was really going in our favour. And to be honest, can we really complain? To give you guys my quick conclusion, if this was a game last season, we'd have lost this game quite convincingly. We'd have no hope of getting back into this game. So already, the hunger the players show, the determination to correct the mistakes made in the first half, it came through, it pulled off. And even hearing some of the players' thoughts in the post-match interviews, they're mentioning things like players of our standard playing for a club like this. They believe in their abilities, they know they're big players in a big club. We're seeing that confidence, I guess, and it has been a very decent start so far. Not an explosive one, but we are seeing slow improvements from last season. You guys, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.